Hello and welcome to Catching Up with Boruto, the podcast about catching up and first impressions of the anime Boruto. Better late than never, that's our ninja way. Hello and welcome to Catching Up with Boruto. My name's Johnny.
My name's Trey.
And yes, I did cut my hair. So now I don't
that.
I don't look like my guy anymore.
Ooh.
He has like crazy long hair. We're
No,
not in there.
My guy actually looks like he got shorter hair than I do now, too.
Yeah.
We switched.
Dang. But yeah, so we're in a different room now, guys, if you can tell. We're actually in my office where I, do office things and play games, obviously, as you can see.
No, that's just a normal work computer. What are you talking about?
Yeah, everyone does that. Yeah, why not?
That's what my stuff looks like.
But yeah, guys, so welcome back to Catching Up with Boruto. If you don't know who we are a podcast, and so we're a podcast.
I think so.
Our mission is to catch up with Boruto because Trey and I are long fans of Naruto Shippuden, but we've never watched Boruto. Don't know why. It's still going right now. So we have started this podcast from episode 1 to catch up with Boruto. That's why we named it that. What do you know?
I would think so. I mean, hopefully you can understand it from that point.
Yeah.
I mean, I get a little confused sometimes, but, he just reminds me, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, there we go. It's like,
Yep.
But, man, this show, I'm actually kind of getting mad. Well, this week I was getting mad that we started this show. And it was just because I wanted to keep going. And I had all the time in the world this week to just binge it, I guess. I ended up playing a lot of VR instead. I just got a VR headset. But, yeah, so I was getting really mad. I was like, why did we do this? Because I would already be on episode, 150 by now. And it is what it is. But, hey, we like being here to do it with you guys and to kind of build a community around this. Let us know if you've already caught up with Boruto or if you're going to catch up with us.
Or re-catch up.
Ooh, yeah. But,
Re-catch up.
Yep. And one thing I want to know, let me know, guys, whether it's on Twitter or Instagram or anything. I did get a Twitter just because some people like that. I'm not a huge Twitter person.
I haven't used Twitter since 2010.
Yeah. But yeah, so I just went and got it just because sometimes it's a better way to, I guess, communicate rather than replying on a picture.
If that's where our political stuff comes from, we can do it with Boruto.
Hey, there you go. Yep. Yep. But anyways, so let us know. I was actually thinking this past week as I was looking at our episode names, and I was like, we have Catching Up with Boruto episode, whatever the episode of Catching Up with Boruto is. And I was
Kage's boy or whatever.
Yeah. So I was thinking, well, maybe we'll still make our own titles, obviously. But maybe we should do episodes like today we're doing episode 9. So maybe we should talk about it's Boruto episode 9. But I'll just do our name episode 9 instead of Catching Up with Boruto episode. And we're actually on 8 because we did 2 and 1. And I was just thinking about it, and when people are new.
What's going on?
Yeah,
why are they
new
a
to
show
this.
behind?
Yeah,
or
and they're
show ahead?
This isn't the numbers don't even make sense, and that's it's about Boruto, not us.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think?
I mean,
I haven't even asked about this.
I think it makes sense.
Right
If we keep track of with the show that we're the episode that we're actually keeping up with, that probably would make the most sense. Because I mean, it's more the chronologically, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Keeping track of the episodes that we've done doesn't really do much, but keeping track of the episode that we're actually talking about makes the most sense, so that anyone who's watching and wanting to actually do this with us, they're not an episode behind me why are they talking about this?
Yeah.
None of this happened today.
Yep.
It'd be a little less confusing.
And actually, we would be telling them what's happening next episode.
We'd be ruiners.
Yeah, we'd be ruiners. Ruiners are the worst people in the world, so don't be a ruiner. But anyways, and I was also thinking in the name has CUWB, Catching Up with Boruto, and I was like, that just looks weird too, and I'm very I like things to be organized. So I was like, yeah, maybe I'll go back and change that, and we should do it now while we're still, fairly new. But anyways, let's go ahead and get on to episode 9. Not Catching Up with Boruto episode 8 anymore. Episode 9.
Episode 9.
Boruto Uzumaki? has arrived on the scene, you know?
All right. Yeah. I've been really looking forward to this episode.
I was super excited for it. I was like, oh, we're ready. Here we go. And, I didn't feel like I lived up to as much hype as I made it.
Yeah. I think we've been really looking forward to, like, when is he going to tell someone about his eye?
Yeah.
Because, in the past, Boruto's been having this thing with his left eye where he can see this right eye. You're right, right eye. But his right eye, and he's been able to see this, like, purple chakra that's, like, taking over people, possessing them.
Making them do weird things and get all angry and attack people.
Yeah, but so we're like, when is he gonna actually tell somebody, like tell an adult, and they'll figure it out, and then we can know. And he finally tells, his dad, his mom, his family. Then they go ahead and
after that weird dream he had, right? Where he saw,
right, yeah. And the person said that his eye will save humanity or something like that.
Be the protector of humanity or something along those lines.
Yep. And
one of those very dramatic things.
Yeah, it was very dramatic. And by the way, Trey's shirt, nice Naruto shirt, bro. You can see it. Yeah. If you want to watch us on YouTube, we're on YouTube too, so you can see us. But anyways, so we finally get this where, like, they go ahead and take him to Grandpa Hyuga, and he's going to determine whether it's the Byakugan or not. And so we don't really think it's the Byakugan. Doesn't look like it, no veins, but we're like, hey, at least
still had that kind of like whitish look, not the same normal one, but kind of like had that little almost cataract looking eye.
Yeah, it looks like something's wrong.
Yeah.
So we were really excited because it was like, oh, they're gonna actually figure it out though and nail it down. But let's go ahead and get into this episode because there's a lot of hype going into this episode. So it starts off with Grandpa Hyuga challenging Boruto to a fight to see if he can see his Byakugan. And Grandpa Hyuga says it will manifest in battle, and Hanabi and him will watch for its signs. So basically, if he fights earnestly, it's going to show up.
Come out.
Yeah, it's going to show up, and they're watching him, with two sets of Byakugan, so they can tell if
they ain't going to miss anything.
No, they're not going to miss it. So then, so it would become clear if he fights earnestly, though. He can't, like, kind of do
hold
it.
Back. Like, he can't be his normal Boruto way of, like, things just coming super easy for him and just chilling. Like he kind of, when he's training in the academy and stuff, it's like, I'm just doing what I have to do to pass. But, like, he's doing, like, the best in the class, but it's, like, you can also tell that it's not his best effort.
Right.
So
exactly.
Like, but Grandpa Hugo's kind of like, you're going to have to, like, actually push it, which you would think he's about to fight, like, the most advanced Byakugan, one of the most powerful, was it Kekkei Genkais in the entire, or in all of the Leaf Village. He ain't gonna win,
right?
Like, he's gonna have to really push it,
right? And then, but then Hanabi steps in and says that she'll take the lead because she doesn't want Grandpa to throw his back out, or if he beats up on Boruto too much, Boruto ended up not liking him. And, we already saw his grandpa side where he's like all huggy and, loves his grandkids. So I think that was what did it. Like, you know what? I don't want him to not love me.
It's like, that might mess up. And he's probably just like Naruto. He's got that pride. Like, if he gets beat, he's not going to be very happy about it.
Right.
And, and on top of that, it's like, it's also just, I think she also said that, like, like, he won't really go as easy as he needs to on Boruto just because his skill level is so much higher.
Right.
But he'd probably just beat him in, like, all of 2 seconds, and they wouldn't actually see anything or give it a chance to manifest.
We know that he would either take it too easy because, he's fighting his grandkid, or he would be himself that we are used to in, like, the Naruto show and just, like, crush him in 3 seconds back. I didn't see it.
No, it wasn't there.
And then Boruto would, not like him anymore and all that.
Yeah.
So he ends up stepping aside and letting Hanabi take the lead. And then Hanabi and Boruto fight. And then, they start going at it. And, he does this shadow clones. And she really, like, just tears him apart in, like, 2 seconds. And she actually sends him flying at a tree. And then Kimawari says to Naruto, like, is he going to be okay? Because, He's getting his butt kicked.
He's not doing well.
No.
she's worried for her big brother.
Yeah.
And not going so great for him. But
No. And
thankfully, she's well trained and very controlled, and she's not going to beat him up too bad.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, she could, but she's not.
Oh, she definitely could.
Oh, no
but
doubt.
then Naruto.
She was the one that was more advanced than Hinata too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's why they were kind of like, after you kind of saw Hinata, like, taking it like, I don't want to do this kind of role, and, wanting to like be with Naruto. I think they were kind of showing like, because, what's his name who died?
Neji.
Thank you. Wow. We remembered a name.
Yes.
That's crazy. We're getting better. But, we kind of almost saw like Neji, like, oh, he'll probably end up being like, this underdog to take like the head role of,
The Hyuga clan?
yeah, the Hyuga clan. I was looking at my notes. But then, obviously he can't do that because he's dead. Sorry,
What? He's
spoiler
dead?
for Naruto fans. But so I think that, we're kind of seeing, Hanabi like going to take that role, and she's already more advanced than Hinata was. Yep. Like, she's more determined in training. Hinata wasn't crazy determined in training. She just wasn't like, I'm gonna get up and train today.
Yeah,
she had that a little bit at maybe towards the end of Naruto Shippuden, but so yeah, she. Sorry, I'm getting. There's so many names, but. Hanabi is kind of going to be that person. But anyways, so Naruto actually ends up saying to Kimahri that that Boruto is going to be fine. He just isn't used to this kind of like hard training. So,
which goes back to exactly what he said before of telling him that he didn't think that he had manifested Byakugan because of the amount of level and difficulty of training that he would need to occur for him to actually make it manifest. And he's like, I've seen that level of training, and you are not it. You have not done it.
Yep, and I kind of thought that Naruto was a jerk in the last episode for saying that, and he'd say like, I would know better than anyone. You're not there, but
it's true.
It is true. Like
who has trained harder than him?
Yeah, no, I mean, like you think about when he was just like alone and would just go train and train and train, and here's Boruto, like nothing really. It's
he
just
gets
easy.
a lot of hamburgers.
Yeah. So and he has friends that really love him. He doesn't have this like crazy drive yet. I'm sure he's going to get that drive. We're going to see something show up in the show. But it's just not there yet.
Yeah.
But maybe this is the start of it, and that's kind of why I'm hoping for him. But
I hope so too.
Yeah. But then Hanabi questions if he's giving it his all, because after she kind of beats him up, he's kind of sat down for a second, and she kind of challenges him like, is this it? Are you going to back down? And, he starts thinking about like, no, I need to prove myself. And he kind of looks at Naruto and then, gets up, says he's going to try again. And then he actually really starts trying. And then Naruto kind of sees it too. So I think he had like a proud dad moment, because he's like, whoa, he's actually giving like a ton of effort. And Hanabi actually, sees that. And he actually ends up kind of cornering her, where she had to do the palm rotation.
8 trigrams.
Yeah, rotation. So she had actually like,
she had
pull
to
out a jutsu
put a little bit there. Yeah.
In order to stop him. But
he kind of like started like really fighting hard, started relying less on the tricks to try to evade, realizing that that's not going to work, and actually was more working on like his actual skill. Because like, I mean, which I think is what she wanted him to do, just because the Byakugan is more of a actual hand related. Like, I mean, obviously it's a visual jutsu, but it's something that they use in order, like they actually use more fighting style rather than just like
taijutsu.
Yeah, they use taijutsu along with it. So like him jumping around doing all this different stuff, like the more style that Naruto uses, doesn't really go with the Byakugan.
Right.
So kind of pulling that stuff towards it, I think might be I think it might have been kind of more of a play that she was trying to make. One, to get him to work harder, but two, to also use the style that would probably be more likely to manifest the Byakugan if he had it.
Yeah, and we actually saw, I thought a cool part about the Byakugan was when he was doing those kind of trick things, he was like hiding in the tree about to like attack her from behind, and she basically said the Byakugan has no blind spots.
Almost
so she
no
can,
blind spots.
Oh, yeah.
Sanji died, remember?
Yeah. You are right. There was one blind spot. But so like she can like see behind her basically. Like that's how advance
it's
her
like
Byakugan
359 degrees of visual vision.
Yeah, it must be 1 degree off.
Yeah.
And there's like, I totally forgot like where that was.
When we learned about that, it's not when he actually died, I don't think, but it's like got that like little cone of distance for that one guy that like that when they're like kidnapping Sasuke, you like make these arrows that he like pulled out of his esophagus basically and shoot him. It was really creepy and weird, but like that's kind of we learned the actual blind spot that they had. Yeah, it's like it's very small.
Yeah, it is very small, but so yeah, she kind of showed like you're gonna have to actually like do your best. You can't trick me. Mm-hmm. Like I'm the Byakugan makes me untrickable. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so then ends. It ends. She does the 5 trigram. I forgot palm rotation.
8 trigrams palm rotation.
Trigrams palm rotation. Okay,
multiples of 8.
Yep.
8 palm. 16 palm.
Yep.
24 palm. 32 palm. 64 palm.
Yep. But then so, he's laying on his back, and she just kind of says, "Didn't see it, bro.
Yep.
Like, sorry, you don't have it."
Yeah, nothing.
Yep. But then Boruto kind of, he thinks about everything, kind of there for a second, and then he is disappointed. Mm. He does like the classic, like, "Oh, it's all good," like tries to shrug it off, but we know from like his inner thoughts that he was kind of disappointed, but he tried his best.
He had real high hopes for himself.
Yep. And then, then it goes to the next scene. And Trey, if you want to take this part.
Sure. Then at the family dinner, they're all sitting there, and I think they kind of talked about how they're like, well, maybe you guys should just stay for the night because they're so far away from home. How big is the village if that's the case? It makes me curious.
Yeah.
But they decide to kind of have like a little family dinner. Naruto, Hanabi, Himawari, and Boruto and Grandpa Hyuga. And so they're they're drinking some tea, and it gets to the point where they're kind of
maca tea too. He was doing the little. I've never had that, so
see, I just looked at that and I was like, this looks like an old school barbershop.
Yeah, it's kind of what it's like a bamboo whisk. So a lot of people have gotten back into it because it's so healthy for you. But I digress.
I'd never heard of that. But anyway, maca tea. But so they're kind of just doing like the regular dinner, and Himawari's like, Himawari? No, that's the younger. That's the sister.
Yep.
I was right. Himawari. Asking like, how was their dinner? These are my special food. What'd you think? And Boruto just goes, yeah, it's good. Not as good as mom's though.
Yep.
Just completely trolls her right there. And they go, the three of them run off, just playing around, and just goes to Naruto and Grandpa Hyuga talking. And he just asks him, he's like, are you disappointed in your son? Which is like, ooh, I hope he doesn't say no to that. That'd be kind of that'd be pretty disappointing. But he kind of just talks about it a little bit, and he just says at first he thought that he was actually kind of proud of him, is really what ended up being about. He initially thought it was kind of like the way Boruto can be, which is really the exact same way Naruto was, which he just wanted attention. He'd do anything just to get attention. And
especially his dad's.
Yeah, all the time. That's what they wanted. So he kind of thought that Boruto was doing the exact same thing. He was just saying that he wanted the attention, and he was concerned that he just wanted the attention, and that's why he was saying that he thought he manifested the Byakugan. And he just said that things just naturally come easy to Boruto, like we were kind of talking about. He doesn't really have to try all that hard. He does really well. He's successful. He's basically, in a way, the Sasuke of this generation.
Yeah, you're right.
It all just comes super easy for him.
Yeah. But Sasuke
worked
hard, though.
Sasuke still had the discipline.
Yeah.
But I mean, granted, it took him his whole clan being murdered for him to get that level of discipline.
It is true.
So I mean, we'll see.
You better not kill Naruto so early.
Oh no, don't do it.
That intro scene is still ingrained in my brain. That. I'll send you where I sent the 7th Hokage.
Hopefully it was just to the Mist Village.
Yeah.
Or wherever one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just there on vacation. That's all. All right. So he said that as he was sitting there that he realized that it wasn't just because he was just trying to get attention. He realized that there was actually something going on because he really gave it his all. He was fighting as hard as he could, working his absolute best to try to manifest Byakugan, show him, show Naruto, show his grandpa, show his aunt that he actually has something going on and wanted to show it to them. And he just said like the level of I can't think of the word. he tried really hard. There we go. Level of effort. Effort. That's the word I'm looking for. That he gave just showed him that there's something going on, and it's like he said. So he's obviously not lying, but he doesn't know what power it is and what it is that he's noticed. So they said that the only thing that they've really proven isn't that there's not some kind of visual jutsu going on, but they've just proven that it's not the Byakugan,
right? And
it's something else, and that it's going to take. Naruto's going to have to take a lot of time to actually pay attention and watch to see what's happening and kind of keep track of what's going on. And they kind of talked about a little bit of some of the stuff. They said, it's the way the Byakugan manifests and how hard it is. And they kind of talk about, Grandpa Hugo asked if he's seen any signs of the Byakugan in Himawari since the first time.
Yeah.
So she apparently, she has manifested the Byakugan before. And he says that it happened one time, but he said that he was very surprised that she was able to manifest at such a young age, because obviously she's younger than Boruto, and apparently it happened before we even started this, so she was really young. And they said that Grandpa Hugo said it's not unprecedented, but it's extremely, extremely rare that someone at that age was able to manifest it. So I'm really wanting to hear more about that story and know what happened and how it happened and what was going on.
Oh yeah, they just gave us a little tidbit, so they're gonna play it out later.
They have to, they got to give us something.
Yeah.
All I said is yeah, it happened. But yeah, like I said, it's really cool that this all happened. We could see Naruto and his father-in-law actually talking and being close, which is not something you really ever anticipate seeing of Grandpa Hugo.
No, yeah.
He's usually, I would have anticipated him being like this, just hard, stern, almost like military or training instructor, just no, this is what happens. I don't need to see you, blah, 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 that kind of situation. But no, it's just they're just having a real conversation. At first, when they were eating by themselves, he's just don't need to be formal. It doesn't suit you. Just relax. And they just kind of have a normal conversation. It's not the Hokage and the head of the Hyuga clan. It's Naruto and his father-in-law, and they're just talking. They're just family, so it's pretty cool.
Yep. I thought that was pretty cool because, at first, I liked when Naruto says, he doesn't think that he's lying. I really like that because Naruto hasn't been, the character that we all love yet. Mm-hmm. We've just seen, this absent dad and busy Hokage side of him so far. So I really like that he said, when he saw in Boruto, how hard he was trying, that it doesn't matter if the Byakugan didn't show up, but he knows he's not lying now.
Yeah.
And he believes his son. So I thought that was hey, there we go. Yeah. That was a good thing.
Cool. And, this is the first, time we've actually really seen Naruto be, actually take an active role in his kids' lives when we really think about it. But I was actually thinking about it, not that long ago, looking back, flashing back to Naruto and all the other characters and their families, it was kind of the same deal, though. Their fathers weren't that active in their lives. They were there, but they were very, stern. Think about, Sasuke's dad when he was younger. He was very much oh, you have to prove yourself in order to get my attention. And the same thing with some of the other parents, too. It was mostly their mothers taking care of them. The fathers were kind of just we're there. But it wasn't very active role. So it's almost like Naruto's kind of doing the same thing, but it's not what we wanted to see from him.
Right.
We wanted to see especially since his father just wasn't there and he just was craving that attention all the time. It's no, we want him to be a good father here.
Yeah. But I think we're going to see a redemption story. And
I hope so.
Somewhere along the lines, they're going to tell him he needs to stop being so busy at work or something, or hire somebody else or
use all your shadow clones.
Yeah.
Like we've discussed.
Yep. I was actually thinking would he ever realize how much he's missing, or if he can't be as active in protecting the village, would he ever step down as Hokage so he could, rather be with his kids and stuff? I don't think that's him because, it's all about him being the Hokage. So I think he just needs to be a better Hokage.
We can't see that happen until he's an old man or something. I can't even imagine him ever stepping down.
Yeah.
Or being willing to.
Yeah. It's crazy. If they end up making a show Boruto Shippuden or something where Naruto still wouldn't be that old. But if we ever get to see an old Naruto, Boruto's kids or something, him as a grandpa, I really would want to see what happens with the Nine-Tails Fox.
See, this kind of conversation is the thing that makes me feel they're gonna kill Naruto off at some point.
Yeah, they're not gonna let him get old.
I don't think they are. I don't see how they can play it out that way. That's depressing.
Anyways, yep. Oh. Man, I didn't want to talk about that, but anyways, so then after that talk with Naruto and his pops, Boruto is just outside chilling at the Hyuga house since they're staying the night, and just kind of looking up into the moon. We keep on getting this like looking at moon stuff, so
They're very romantic.
yeah, something like that. But then he's kind of questioning himself, like, was it just a dream? Was it like a real kind of like vision thing going on, or is it just
It was just something that he
made up?
desired and wanted, and just kind of came out in a dream, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was like, but it's like we know, like as the show, it can't be that. It's got to be something real.
Yeah.
it has to be. He
Don't
doesn't
know what
it
it
yet.
is yet,
Yeah,
but
it is something.
yeah, and it's kind of weird because like the Sharingan like shows up from either like hate or sadness. So that's how like you get it to show up. The Byakugan, you get it to show up by like really intense hard work. So it's almost like, did he do anything to get this, or is it just a thing that's going to be just special for him, or
I don't know, because it just appeared out of nowhere, really.
out of nowhere? Like,
He was just on his way to school the first day.
I guess it responds to whatever's going on.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like, usually Naruto, like this universe, Boruto, I guess now, like you have to do something for that visual prowess, jutsu. But this is almost just like he's had it and it's just responding. So I don't know. But anyway, so he's outside. Was it just a dream? He's questioning himself. But then Hanabi comes out to start talking with him. And after, she's talking with him, she's kind of saying to him, and so I did have a disappointing moment with Naruto again. Like, why don't you tell him that you don't think he's lying? Don't just keep this to yourself and let him think that you're disappointed in him. But I was like, oh, well.
I think he's kind of like hoping that, I think he might be afraid that if he tells him that, then he won't work so hard again. Like, at least that's kind of what I think. Like maybe maybe he's trying to like let that motivate him to really push him to like really show something. Because he also said this is the first time he's actually seen Boruto like work that hard in a long, long time. So like, maybe this is that chance to actually motivate him.
Yeah. So I guess, if you just give him what he wants, he'll stop. And that's the very thing in this show where it's like, being rivals. If you hate me, you will get better, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so Boruto actually ended up telling Hanabi, well, actually, Hanabi ended up saying that, actually, sorry, I was jumping ahead. Boruto ends up just telling Hanabi when she shows up that he's sorry because it was kind of a waste of time to her because, nothing happened and she had to fight him and all that. But then Hanabi actually asks if she's hiding something from his dad, from Naruto, and he kind of like shrieks, like,
nothing.
Nothing.
There's this giant shadow looming around the entire village that I'm tracking down that I haven't told anybody about.
Yeah.
I'm not hiding anything.
He definitely should have told him that. Like,
Yes,
come on.
come on. At least tell Hanabi right there.
And like, it would have made sense with all the sightings. So it'd be like, I mean,
that might be the clue that they need to figure some more out about his
boom.
eye.
But then, of course, Hanabi says something different. So then anyways, Hanabi ends up saying that she believes him, that he's telling the truth. I had an autocorrect there, so I don't know what happened from our notes. But
that's all good.
Yeah, so then, so she says that, that she thinks he is telling the truth because he fought so hard. So I was like, hey, somebody told him. Yeah. So, like, someone believes him. That's good.
So he's got someone supporting him.
Right, and he needs just a little bit of support,
I mean, he wants his dad's approval. So the fact that it's not from them, I think he'll still be motivated. But it's that good little balance.
Yeah. But then, Boruto, she ends up saying that Boruto has to take care of himself. That he has to figure this out on himself. And I was like, here we go again. Now he's definitely not gonna tell anyone when this stuff is happening. Like, she gave him the fuel he needed to not tell anybody. So I was like, great. But anyway, so then
we kind of fast forward to a side of him like trying to make his eye change, doing like that little weird.
Oh, right.
That scene was so weird,
paragraph.
just like sitting there like,
yeah,
weird eye. I don't know, it's so strange.
He ends up just like trying to focus on his eye and like push it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like maybe it's that thing when
more
you're
looked
little.
like he was gonna make his eye pop out.
Yeah, it's like the thing when you're little when you think you can go Super Saiyan, so you just like flex and grunt to try to go Super
I
Saiyan.
100% did that as a child.
Oh yeah, everyone did it. I
And
mean,
I also tried to use the Force.
oh yeah,
I still do that when I walk up to an
Yeah.
automatic door.
yeah. I still do that too. And if I don't do it, it's only because I'm feeling like I will be judged if I do it. But I always
do
think
it.
it. But yeah, so that it's kind of like he's like like trying to do something with his eye, and then he just falls back like I can't do
gives up.
anything. But
This is
anyways.
where I thought the episode got kind of weird because it was like that whole section I feel like should have been an episode, and also we just go out in left field and do something completely different for the rest of it.
Completely different.
And I was like, what in the world? Like this is. I was like, did I just watch 2 episodes?
Yeah, it did feel like 2 episodes.
Yeah. But no, it was just 2 separate sections of it. I don't know. It's a little strange. But anyway, so Boruto goes out in the town and he looks up and he sees the big giant poster of Kagemasa.
Yep.
And he's or what is it? Evil something? What is it?
Evil Eye Jammer.
Evil Eye Jammer.
Something like that.
Kagemasa, something like that. So weird. But he's like looking up at the poster and like kind of basically wishing he was him and doing a little quote from the movie. And he's just kind of being a little strange. And then Saruto just shows up like, hey, do you like him too? And of course, he's literally been impersonating him for this whole time, has the glasses, imitating him, all this kind of stuff. And then he's like, no, other people do. I was just checking out the poster. She's like, well, you're looking at it pretty, that kind of thing. He's just trying to shrug off the fact that he thinks he's nerdy to watch this, but
He doesn't want to
really
be
loves it.
uncool.
Exactly. That weird thing that we all did as kids that we're just like, why did we do that? We should just like what we like,
Yep.
So weird. But they kind of just talk a little bit, and she says that she has to go meet her sensei after night training, which kids never go meet your teachers at night. That's weird.
Yeah.
But so they're kind of just talking about it, and he's like, oh, she's an honor student, so she has to do a lot more work, all that kind of thing. But so they're talking about the movies, and she kind of gives a little note to him and says, like, apparently the second movie or the next movie that was supposed to be made is delayed for whatever reason. They're not actually shooting it. He's like, what? Why? While still trying to hide the fact that he's really excited about the movie and very upset about this news. Not really sure why. And then all of a sudden, Baruto's eye just goes back to his little cataract looking thing, and he sees a shadow with somebody in the distance, and he kind of freaks out. He's like, there's a shadow. I have to go chase after it. And he takes off. And of course, Saruto's like, what are you doing? That's so weird. And honestly, kind of rude. Just take it off on somebody.
Yeah.
Plus, we're all still kind of hoping that they're going to date or something, right? That's kind of like the little love interest that you they're kind of teasing. Is it going to happen? No. It's going to go somewhere else, 100%.
Oh, yeah, it'll go somewhere else.
It can never be the first one. That's just weird. Anyway, I digress. So he follows this guy or the shadowy figure or the shadowy person into this weird little sign or building that clearly says "Do not enter." So what does he do? He enters it,
Yep.
obviously, because who cares about signs and danger warnings? So they kind of get in there, and he's looking at, and all of a sudden you start to hear that evil eye jammer Kagemasa talking, and he's like, his eye is like seeing the guy in the shadow, but he's like flashing back and forth between this very out of shape guy who looks like he's just like dressed up as Kagemasa and the actual one from the movies, and going back and forth. And he's like, I'm evil eye jammer Kagemasa. And he's like, what? You can't be. There's no way.
Yeah.
You're way out of shape. You can't be this guy. And that just makes the guy even more angry. It turns out he actually is evil eye jammer Kagemasa. I'm going to stop with the evil eye jammer. That's just so weird.
He's Kagemasa.
He's Kagemasa. That's all he is. And so he's like, you're just like everyone else. I'm in control of what I'm doing. I can get in shape for the next movie. We don't have to delay it. And he's like, I'm just going to, basically what we all do when we're talking about diets. I'm just going to do what I want today, and I'll get back on track tomorrow, as he eats a giant handful of chocolate.
Yep.
And of course, what happens is Kagemasa attacks Boruto, because that's what this little shadow thing does. So they're starting to fight. Kagemasa is very clearly overweight, but he's still very skilled in fighting.
Yeah. Which
I mean, we've kind of proved that with Choji and his family.
yeah.
Your weight doesn't affect your ability to fight.
Yeah. And I still don't know if this, like the purple chakra shadow, they're calling it shadow now. So we'll say purple shadow.
Okay.
Or just shadow. Let's say shadow. Does it power you up at all, or is it just take over your emotions and thoughts?
That's a good question.
Because he seemed pretty like normal, or like you think because he's an actor, like he wouldn't be able to like put up that much of a fight. But I guess he doesn't. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, like, I wouldn't say Shino got like any stronger necessarily, but it was just maybe it's more. It just takes away any of the reservations that they have. They just don't care, so they just go all out. So I don't know if it necessarily makes them stronger. It just makes them any inhibition that they have just goes out the window.
Yeah, and that's true because when Naruto and Shikadai were talking to, we just said his name, bug guy.
Shino.
Shino. That like if he was actually like really fighting, they wouldn't have stood a chance. But it's because they just like he didn't even reserve his chakra and was doing stupid stuff. So yeah, maybe it just like makes you go all out while it's feeding on your chakra or something. So
something along those lines. But it's very weird. But anyway, kind of like talked about how he gained weight, so they canceled the show. That's probably that little budge in his emotions that made him susceptible to the shadow.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, Sardo jumps in and says, or was it? Oh, they kind of talk about like the weird Boruto's telling Sardo about the shadow, and he's like, "I'm not lying." She's like, "You're not a liar, but you are an idiot."
Yeah,
which makes sense. Going after someone or following them into the shadow or into a weird building and attacking them, kind of weird. But it kind of makes me laugh because like as they're fighting, like they're kind of going back and forth, and it takes the two of them together to actually beat him. And eventually they do, but of course once Boruto delivers the final punch, it's just like a piñata, just candy like starts falling from the sky everywhere. And they kind of took this as this weird section of the show to go from like the first half was like this whole thing about his eye, and the second half is just this style of like the whole point of it was like, do what you say you're going to do and don't be a hypocrite. Like you're doing something against what you're saying. Like it's like, I'll be in shape as he's just eating mounds of chocolate. And it just kind of like becomes this weird point of the episode, which I thought was just so strange. It just kind of went completely two different directions. But anyway, at the very end of it, they beat Kagemasa, and they kind of like go on to that whole thing of, Boruto kind of learns a lesson of, if you're going to do something, live it. Don't just say it. Like that kind of style. And as it turns out, they have a little news flash where the Kagemasa movie is back on track for recording. So he got on his diet, got back in shape, and everything's good to go. So at the very end of it, he kind of fills in Shigadai and Mitsuki. Yep. There we go. They kind of let him know what happened. And they're kind of like talking about the whole eye thing, and that he went to his telling him about the whole thing with his grandpa, and that turns out that wasn't Byakugan and nothing happened. And, they're like, well, aren't you disappointed? He's like, yeah, a little bit, but he's going to prove himself, and he is going to prove that something's going on. Because obviously something's happening. Eventually he's going to prove what it is. And it kind of gets that same, in the end, like he doesn't say the exact same thing, but he gets the same style of, it's obviously not the Byakugan, but it's something, and I'm going to figure out what it is, and I'm going to show them.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. That was like the point of this episode was so he like failed in that because he was trying to tell them, and then they obviously didn't happen, but because he worked so hard, they believed him because Hanabi said something about like you can tell when someone's telling the truth when you're sparring with them. That's kind of like a residual thing from like Naruto, when they bump fist, because it's when they're fighting, like, they shared like thoughts or something. I forget about that. Sometimes it went a little off the rails, and I was like, what? No, it doesn't. But
different world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not our world, I guess. Yeah. So, but yeah,
they make their own rules.
Yeah. So I think the point was for him to double down on to not tell anybody, but to like, tell the truth by his actions, or to figure it out, and that's how everyone else will figure it out. So I guess that's what it was, which is the exact opposite what we wanted. We wanted him to tell them, and then they figure it out. But now they've kind of said like, well, you tried to tell them, and it didn't work out. So definitely don't tell them, and prove it from your actions. So I was like, great.
Yeah, well, it's going to drag out for a lot longer.
Yeah, they must have known like that's what we would want in the show at this point. Like, just tell them, tell the adults, and they'll figure it out. But they didn't figure it out. because it's something new, something different. And so, it's like, well, how do you show the Byakugan? Well, you train really hard. So then how do you get to show up? You fight really hard. Didn't show up. We don't know. But at least Naruto's keeping an eye on his eye. But yeah.
How's he going to do that when he has so busy he can't even see his kid anyway?
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. Come on, Naruto.
He's going to make Shikamaru do it or something.
Yep. Or send one of his shadow clones or something. But anyway, so yeah, that was pretty much like, the end point is prove it with your actions. And he actually said that back to Kagemasa at one point, basically putting his words in his mouth from the movies and saying that, Kagemasa would say, prove it with your, which shows that he's such a fanboy because he's quoting, the everything to him right in front of Sarada. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Sarada.
Sarada. Oof, almost I messed up. So, and then Sarada believes him too. She says that, he's not a liar, but he is definitely an idiot. Throwing that honor student title right in front of him. But that's a very Sasuke thing.
This is true.
She's very like,
speaking of, when do we get to figure out about Sasuke?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm so sad about that. And she definitely has the pupils for the
Sharingan?
yes, but what's the clan?
Oh, the
I keep
Itachi clan.
Yeah, no, Itachi is
Itachi. Sorry, Sasuke.
Uchiha clan.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Itachi.
sorry, guys. There's so many names, and I'm getting back into it. It's hard to keep track of all the names sometimes. But anyways, so she definitely has the same huge, and it's just like there's no color in her eye. It's just a big black pupil, and that's like what all the Uchiha clan have, and then that changes to the red, and then has the black dots in the middle. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna see that from her because she's the only one in the whole show.
Can't get rid of it,
no,
especially because it's just so cool,
right? And if Sasuke is the last one, he's the last. If he dies and doesn't have a kid, it's gone. The Sharingan is just gone.
Disappears.
So yeah, she definitely has to carry that on. And then if her and Boruto did get together, he has an eye, she has a Sharingan.
Would that just
what the
create
heck's
a
gonna go
Rinnegan?
on? I don't know. I mean, Sasuke already has a Rinnegan and Sharingan, which is weird because the Rinnegan never goes away. Like you can't turn it on and off. So he just always has that Rinnegan eye, but then a normal eye, which is why. I think that's why they redid his character. Instead of having hair up, he had hair off to the side because they knew we're going to get in the Rinnegan. Oh, it doesn't go away. Well, that would look really weird all the time. And then, when he fights, I'm sure his hair will be flying back in the wind, showing it. But anyways, we haven't seen it yet.
I know.
We haven't seen him yet. What the heck?
It's making me mad. I want to know so bad.
I'm sure we're gonna get him pretty soon. But anyways.
What kept you so long, Lord Hokage? You don't have much time left at this point.
All right, and that's the end of this episode. So now we're just kind of left hanging with I guess things are just going to keep happening, but I'm not sure. So
one other thing though is we didn't. Sorry, I'm
go ahead.
Or going backwards a little bit, but the one thing I clicked out as the shadow went away this time, there was a monster face, legitimately it wasn't like there was before, there was a little shadowy kind of face thing.
Right.
There was that clear red eyes, red mouth kind of face thing in there. And I was like, what is that?
Definitely faced Boruto because he's this
he
kid
saw it.
keeps
It's you're getting in my way.
Problem. Yeah, he's definitely a problem for him. But so I think it's getting stronger, and that's what we've kind of been talking about. It's taking people's chakra, and there keeps on being this little burning symbol that's growing. We didn't see it this episode.
No, it wasn't there.
So I'm not sure if that's it gets to a new point when it's gotten enough chakra, and it definitely got that from the other people he's fought, but maybe not an actor. But you gotta take what you can get. People have to be mad, upset, all that kind of stuff. Yep. But anyways, talking about just the podcast for a second. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we have been putting some ads in every now and then. And I've kind of gone back and forth with should I put one at the beginning, one at the end? And I've kind of taken the beginning one off for now and just put one at the end. Feel free to definitely just listen to whatever. I'm not sure what ads it automatically does it, but hosting this kind of stuff, like the actual, like, so you guys can listen, isn't free. So just listening to that ad helps. I'm trying to think of a better way to maybe do this. Let us know your feedback if you don't mind about the one in the beginning and in the end. YouTube, obviously, we don't need to do that because it just does it
randomly.
Yeah, and we're all used to it, so it's not weird. I've looked into a few other things to maybe so it's not as harsh on you guys. Because I don't want to do that, but I do want to eventually let this show be like self-sustainable. Just so because I'm paying like a little monthly fee just to like so you guys can download it and it's hosted somewhere. So we would love for that to happen, but let us know how you guys would like to hear an ad. If you want to, maybe have us say one in the middle instead of you hearing a random voice, or if you don't mind. It doesn't really make what we have right now for the audience size doesn't really make anything. We haven't even gotten $1 yet from all the episodes, so I don't know. I guess that'd be a good way if a lot of people are listening, and then I don't have to like go out there and find an ad. But I think Audible has one that we could sign up for.
That'd be cool.
And then we can actually say it on the podcast, so it might work out. I even have like
we just said Audible on. Doesn't that count as an ad?
AUDIBLE, audibletrial.com. We can make a sound bite.
Boom.
Eventually. I don't know. But I'll look into that. But let us know like how you guys want
Write
that
a
in the
song
show.
about it.
Ooh.
You will write a song about
could,
that, by the way.
I could do that, yeah.
I am not a writer.
Yeah. But let us know, because we don't want it to be like harsh or like, we want it to be something that you guys don't mind, but, it supports us at the same time. So, this, like, the audience and...
We want the show to be entertaining. And,
yeah.
We've all gone through those, like, either podcasts or videos, and it's just like ad after ad after ad. And it's so annoying. But we also... But, it is stuff that has to happen, too. So we want to make whatever we can do to make it best for you guys, that you guys enjoy it without, like, really hindering what we're doing. We'd love to hear that feedback from you rather than just throwing it in and having you guys deal with it. So whatever we can do to make it best for us and for you would be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So let us know. This episode won't come out for a few more weeks from when we're doing it right now. We'll be watching. Tweet at us, Instagram. I'll probably put up a poll whenever this episode's live and just kind of say like, hey, what do you guys think about this? Or what do you think about this? Do you hate the ads? Do you not hate the ads? I don't know. But anyways, guys, this is the end of our episode for Catching Up with Boruto. Definitely tell your friends, especially if they love this show. If they haven't watched Boruto yet, but they've watched Naruto, this is literally the perfect show because, if they have forgotten some things about Naruto like we have, we actually go through that stuff. So it's a perfect show to tell your friends about. And
even if we forget a name on occasion.
Yeah, exactly. And
we'll get better.
Yeah, and we kind of talk about the name, and you guys probably forgot the same name, maybe not. Don't forget to follow us. Even if you don't listen on YouTube, watch on YouTube, go ahead and go give us a follow because that really helps. Talking about helping us out. We have a YouTube channel, Catching Up with Boruto. We have a Twitter, Catching Up with Boruto, and definitely an Instagram that we're really active on, Catching Up with Boruto. Whoa, what do you know? Definitely go follow us on those kind of things. Talk to us. Let us know how you're doing, how you like the show, what new segments you would like to hear. And that's all I got.
And we're open to ideas, so just reach out. We're cool. We like it.
Yeah, and we might try to do some Instagram live stuff just to kind of try to hang out with you guys a little bit live.
So
now that we're in this
hanging
room,
out with Catching Up with Boruto.
hanging out with Catching Up with Boruto. Hey, there you go. Now that we're in this room, I have a little bit more equipment that I can go live with, just a little bit more, instead of a little blank room. But anyways, that's it for our show. Take it easy, guys, and remember, better late than never. That's our ninja way. See you guys.
See you guys.